Plants vs. Zombies 2 has been a game for quite some years now, and surprisingly, plants are still being made for the game. It's kind of shocking that even to this day, after so many years, they're still dropping plants in every now and then. The big issue is that there's been definitely a drop in quality when it comes to these plants. Not just in terms of mechanics, but animation, art, just in general, these plants seem very off from the other ones in the past. And I'm here to talk about why, since when, and which ones. Also the pros and the cons. In version 10.6.1, the weirdest plant ever to come out in PvZ2, in my opinion, was Scaredy Shroom. In the past, they have released nostalgic bait pants. Like Pumpkin kind of seemed like a nostalgic bait pant, and they kind of messed up his design in my opinion. He looks really weird. But Scaredy Shroom was one of the weirdest ones. He wasn't part of a Dark Ages expansion. He wasn't a GMM plant. He was an arena plant. You had to work hard and collect his seed packets, and then you finally earned him. And the weirdest part is, he's just not necessary. There's many videos talking about Scaredy Shroom, many. And all of them agree that he's just useless. He does 20 damage. He has the same stats as Pea Shooter. The difference is that, you know, he costs 25 sun. You're telling me that it's definitely worth it to collect 250 seed packets or whatever the amount is for Scaredy Shroom? I understand if maybe it was in one of the levels or somehow for just a few gems, but nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna look at Scaredy Shroom and be like, yeah, I want to get this plant. It's just not worth it. I might be repeating what a lot of other YouTubers have said, but it's true. Scaredy Shroom's design just doesn't fit either. Compare his design to Puff Shroom and Fume Shroom, and he looks completely different from the both of them. Not just Scaredy Shroom that's coming out or has come out, it's Sea Shroom too. It is the same concept as Scaredy Shroom. Why would anybody use Sea Shroom in the current modern day? Especially because Sea Shroom will probably be an arena event character. He won't cost gems, he won't be part of some expansion. He is literally a character you have to like go absolutely try hard in an arena to get. Nobody's gonna want to do that. Sea Shroom will probably have low damage just like Scaredy Shroom. There are many other alternatives that you could use. So it's the same idea. Why bring back Sea Shroom and Scaredy Shroom? It's all for the same reason. It's two different words. Nostalgia bait. I can't see any other reason why they would bring them back. They don't add on to the game and it should perform, especially Scaredy Shroom. The only thing I could say is I like Scaredy Shroom's new design, but apart from that, why bring him back? Seeing the unfinished gameplay, I could tell it's just the same character, so it's not adding anything. What is the point? Of course, I'm not gonna complain about something without offering some solutions. I don't mind if these two characters and possibly more are added in the future, if they just do this. They used to do expansions for the different worlds, and I already mentioned it in the beginning of the video with Scaredy Shroom. Let's say hypothetically, they make an expansion for Dark Ages. It's only like what, 20 levels, so what's another 10 more? And maybe you unlock Scaredy Shroom through the way. The same thing could apply to Sea Shroom. Oh, maybe there's a Big Wave Beach expansion. You can play with Sea Shroom now. One of the levels you unlock him. There are so many other options. Which leads us to another big problem with modern premium plants. Arena, when it was first introduced, was pretty much a way of unlocking plants that wasn't using real money or gems. At first the concept seemed great, but later on, in my opinion, it seemed too excessive. Every single plant now is only unlocked through Arena. There's no new gem plants or God knows even new premium plants, just for the best probably. But it's pretty shocking that it's only been exclusively Arena plants. Okay, it's much better than, you know, using real money, don't get me wrong. But frankly, it's not exactly easy to unlock the plants. And wow, is it boring. Okay, it takes a fat while to reach that peak where you unlock the 300 seed packets for the plant. And you don't just get them with each win. You have to win more and more, and eventually you go to different leagues and you'll get the plan. I don't think anyone has the patience or time to do that. All the arena games are pretty much the same. Just a bunch of zombie spam coming at you, and you have to beat the second person that's probably a bot every now and then. It's boring. It's exhausting. It's just the same thing over and over again. I don't think anyone could do that. I bet they could keep plans where you can earn them through arena. It's not a bad concept, but it's just tiring that you have to keep going over and over again just to unlock one singular plan. And imagine doing this for the useless plans like Sea Shroom and Scaredy Shroom. It's just not worth it. People aren't gonna try that. They need to shape up arena in some shape or form in order to make it more interesting, because for now it's just straight up zombie spam. It feels like one of those PvZ expansion remake games that are literally just that. It's not creative. It's plant and zombie spam, like mentioned. There needs to be some sort of rework to arena. I'm not sure exactly what you could add in to make arena not lazy and just boring and repetitive, but maybe mix it up a little bit. Maybe add in new maps, or you know, add in some unique zombies. I know they do have the Roman and office zombies, which are pretty unique, but I don't know, just they gotta think of something that makes arena worth it. They need to like have different sections of arena. Maybe have the leagues change up the difficulty or change up what it is, rather than just the same zombie spam over and over and over again. It's just so boring. The way to obtain the plants is just too excessive and too much for just one person. But there are other ways you obtain the plant, which is where we're going to next. Penny's Pursuit is really another way to obtain plants that, you know, usually you earn in arena. It's usually associated with the plant of the week, because when there's a plant of the week, you can also earn it through Penny's Pursuit. Yeah, this isn't a horrible way to earn the plant as well. Definitely, admittedly, sometimes better than actual arena. But the two, maybe three reasons why this just doesn't work is, first of all, it doesn't give you the full plant if you beat both the plant of the week and Penny's Pursuit, I think. It doesn't give you enough seed packets for that, but it does give you enough, I guess. Second reason is the plant of the week is very randomized, so let's say it's a plant that you don't want or you don't like, so yeah. And the third reason is Penny's Pursuit can be really freaking difficult. Really difficult. Penny's Pursuit has 3 different difficulties, yet they all 3 feel like the same. It's straight up just zombie spam. It's the same thing as arena. The only thing I'll give it is that all the levels are different like situations, but apart from that, it's straight up just impossible to defeat unless you have more than level 1 plants. But I refuse to level 1 my plants, so obviously it's probably gonna be difficult for me. But still, it depends on a leveling system that I quite don't like, and it just makes the game unplayable. Penny's Pursuit at least. So it's not even a beneficial way to earn the plant that you want to earn. Plant of the week at least isn't as difficult as Penny's Pursuit. The only con for it is that you need energy packs. So each day you start with 40, so it's 2 levels a day pretty much. If you wanted to, you could use gems and coins to buy more, but they're like an absurd amount of coins and gems to buy more sometimes, so it's mostly just doing it every day and eventually you'll get some packets. But as I said, this isn't enough to get the full plant, because I'm guessing that they want you to play arena and Penny's Pursuit as well to earn the full plant. I would say keep plant of the week the way it is. It's basically just to teach the player how to use a plant and just to give a few seed packets for it. But definitely, if they could, they should have changed Penny's Pursuit. Not the levels themselves, they're fine. They're nothing too special, but they work. But there's way too much zombie spam. Like, sometimes I could literally struggle in the first difficulty with 3 perks every now and then, and I'm still struggling because there's zombie spam, gargantuars every now and then, or the stupid treadmill zombie, or just those matching games. It's so much zombies for no reason at all. I know they expect us to level up our plants. I know they expect us to like use 3 perks and waste our gems. But it's just impossible sometimes. It makes the game unplayable. I feel like this game has a big problem forgetting how to limit your zombies and how much should come in a lane at once. It's just way too much. The designs and animations for Plants vs Zombies 2, in my opinion, I've always really liked them. They're nice, simple, cute, pretty smooth, I'd say. It wasn't until Block Elite, I think, where the animation quality definitely seemed less consistent. A lot like the Chinese version of the game, where a lot of the animations of that game were very weird as well, and it made me wonder why. There's a lot of different theories on why exactly the PvZ2 art and animation from now is so different from the past, and that's what I'm here to talk about. One theory claims that it's possible that the team of PvZ3 migrated to PvZ2 for experimenting. PvZ3 in the past had no updates, like completely no updates, and it was very strange. PvZ2 continued to have more and more plants. The theory is that these different plants were experiments. It was to train these different employees to animate, to design. They're not meant to be official plants, more experimental ones, I guess, to kind of learn how exactly to work this different coding. Of course, PvZ3 is a very different game from PvZ2. I think it's more 3D coded than 2D, but the point is, it's probably the same premise, therefore it's great practice to use these different plans as a way to experiment with animation, how to do something, etc. Another reason, and this is most likely the actual reason, is many years ago, I think around 2017, a labor filing showed that there were several layoffs at the PopCap studio that affected around like 45 to 50 employees. I don't know exactly why, apart from, like, you know, cutting staff possibly for budget issues or just because. But of course, cutting out these much employees clearly explains the fact that the animations are cheaper, there's less employees, and they probably replace the art director. And when you replace an art director, it's gonna look very strange, it's gonna look very different. I already mentioned it with the Scaredy Shroom. Compare the Scaredy Shroom design to the Fume Shroom and Puff Shroom design. Again, it just doesn't look like the same design and style. The same thing could apply to the other PvZ2 plants, the new ones. I already mentioned it before with Scaredy Shroom, Fume Shroom, and Puff Shroom. The Scaredy Shroom design looks nothing like both of them. And the same thing can be applied to the other new characters. Obviously, they're not based off of original plants. But just compared the designs to the old ones, I really don't like some of them. Like Tomb Tangler, like, no, I do not like the design at all. Or like, okay, Chili Pepper looks great, but then apply it to animation and holy crud, does it look bad. Point is, you can see the sudden decrease in animation quality, and it's so distracting because it feels like you're using rip-off plants in the game. That's really all my problems personally about the animation and art. Now let's go on to the next segment. One of my biggest problems when it comes to the premium plants is the fact that the powers are way too inconsistent. And when I mean powers, I mean toughness, I mean damage, I mean recharge time. For example, Ice Shroom does 200 or 400 damage, and he stays in the game the whole time. He's not an instant plant. While that's not a horrible idea, it's absolutely insane that as soon as you earn him, a lot of the different levels in game will literally be a piece of cake. The Ice Shroom doesn't really have much weaknesses apart from, I guess, it can only do short range attacks, but it can also power ice characters. Also such a big plus. It makes Ice Shroom a bit too OP. Another strange thing that I noticed about some of these plants is that a lot of them are just replacements or upgrades of other old plants. For example, Iceweed. Why wouldn't you just use Iceweed rather than Spike Rock and Spike Weed? It's just straight up a better version of it, with around the same amount of sun. Or Teleporto Mine is literally, in my opinion, much better than Primal Potato Mine or Normal Potato Mine. This isn't a bad thing, but it takes away the purpose of, let's say, Primal Potato Mine. Primal Potato Mine takes 25 to 24 seconds to recharge, and it has a pretty large radius when it comes to exploding people. Zombies, I mean. Teleporto Mine does a lot of damage, not as much as Primal Potato Mine, but still does overall a lot of damage, and only takes around 19 seconds to recharge. People are going to use the Teleporto Mine, especially because it doesn't need to be close to a zombie for it to explode on them. You can teleport the zombie to where it is. Therefore, some of these plants straight up just don't make the other plants seem as good anymore. You can just buy these and use these. So what's the point of using the other old current plants? Why not make new plants, original plants? Same thing could apply for Mega Gatling P. It isn't as useless and as unnecessary as Scaredy Shroom and Sea Shroom, because at least it does a lot. But it just, again, takes away the importance of Repeater, or Three-Peater, Pea Shooter.
yeah, that's all I can really say about these premium plans. Of course, they're not horrible. Like I said, I also talk about pros. Some designs are okay, not bad to look at. Like the new sea shroom, I think I already mentioned it, is definitely an improvement from the first game. It looks much cuter. Apart from that, yeah, these plans definitely need some work to them. And if they don't, I hope the newest ones won't look as cheap and won't be as bad. I just wish that this game could just step up just a little bit, because they were doing pretty good many years ago, but now it's just a cluttered mess. But that's all for this video, guys. If you want to see more, obviously do the usual stuff that YouTubers ask for you to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.